So I know a ton of you love when I broke down Juice WRLD's Goodbye and Good Riddance album. Link should be somewhere in the description box. And today I want to talk about another amazing album. X's album 17 might be one of my personal favorites when you put everything together. The time in my life when I heard this album and just where I was at mentally resonated with your boy. Crazy to now see this album be considered an older album, being that it came out in 2017 when I was like 16 or 17. Man, I am getting old. But for this video, I listened to the album again and again and again to truly analyze this work of art from one of the most controversial artists of the past decade. This album is chock full of real life thoughts, nightmares, and stressful situations. Before we start this video, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and like the video. I really appreciate all of you that watch these videos. With that being said, I present you 17. This album was first announced on X's Periscope when he was released on March 17th. 17 was the number he chose for the album, very same number tatted on the right side of his head. 17 was X's debut studio album. It was released on August 25th, 2017 by Bad Vibes Forever and Empire Distribution. Let's start off with track 1, The Explanation. X personally introduced us to 17 himself. He takes us on a mini journey through his thought process and just mind in general, which if you're familiar with anything X ever did, it definitely seemed like an interesting and intense place to be. In explaining what should be expected of it, I really appreciate this part of the album. Honestly, I really did, because it really felt like a one-on-one personal chat with the icon himself. I always say this, but getting personal and having a deep connection with your core audience is so important. Something I strive to do myself. Here, he definitely showed that. My favorite part of this monologue, I should say, because it's not really a song, is how he ends it. And he states, by listening to this album, you are literally, and I cannot stress this enough, literally entering my mind. And if you are not willing to accept my emotion and hear my words fully, do not listen. I do not value your money. I value your acceptance and loyalty. Here's my pain and thoughts put into words. I put my all into this in the hopes that it will cure or at least numb your depression. I love you. Thank you for listening. Enjoy. Next track we have is the first actual song off the album and a fan favorite, Jocelyn Flores. This track tells the story of X finding out a friend of his who had battled with depression. The crazy thing is that X, according to himself, him and Jocelyn weren't friends for long. He even said he barely knew her when talking about her in the song. He would elaborate in saying, it was a devastating situation to deal with. It messed me up so bad to where I wasn't on social media for the last few days unless I was addressing something that I needed to. I never thought I would feel something for someone I barely knew that would mess me up so bad. This is a little rager life gem, if you will. Relationships are tough. No matter how short or long they are, they can definitely have a strong impact on you. He goes on to dedicate another song on the album called Revenge to Jocelyn shortly after she died. He didn't discuss her death on the track, although he wrote it in the song's description on SoundCloud. And he would say, rest in peace, Jocelyn. I will have my revenge upon the world. If you want to talk about the song itself, it's simple. It's a sad banger. It's a song that I put on when I'm upset or in my feelings. We have those type of days, but it's still a banger nonetheless. The Shiloh Dynasty sample mixes great with X, and it's a couple more songs on here that has Shiloh samples in it because the producer Potu worked close with both artists, and man, putting them on the same track creates gold. Next track we have is Depression and Obsession. This track is peak X harmonizing. It's so crazy how versatile this man was. Like, it's ridiculous you hear this song and you can't imagine it was made by the same guy who made Hey Look At Me or I'm Sipping Tea in Your Hood. It's really insane if you think about it, like the range. Artists today would do who knows what for that versatility. This song is rumored to have been about his ex Geneva, but sources were never confirmed. But whoever he was talking about this time, he was clearly obsessed with her, and apparently they first met at Makeout Hill. Maybe you detectives in the comments can crack the case. Let me know. Next, we got another banger. Probably going to be saying that a bunch in the vid, so sorry, whatever. Just go right now and check out this song and hear how that beat just comes in super masterfully as soon as you push play. It's just an automatic vibe. If you play this song around me, man, I know you have taste, you know what I mean? I respect your music taste and I know you're cultured, okay? This song is incredible. Another Shiloh sample linked up with X, just like a smooth tea for your ears. Now that I'm hearing that sounds kind of gross. But here X explains how being in love typically brings pain into his life, and he just feels like he's wrapped up in the game of life, which we all get trapped into from time to time. But listen to X and or play a Rager University video, I'll think it probably help a little bit. But I'm biased. An interesting lyric I always thought weird about this song was when he says, I don't really go outside because I hate traffic. I don't want to go outside, get caught in traffic. I always thought he meant traffic, like, of course, traffic in the first line, like, you know, cars and stuff, you know. But is he alluding to the traffic like ops or just enemies in the second line when he says traffic? I did pretty heavy research on it, and I know people think it's a couple different meanings, but comment what you think it meant. Next track we have is Revenge, which I briefly mentioned in my analysis of Jocelyn Flores earlier. If you were watching, I'm pretty sure you were. Apparently, X produced this song all to himself, which would make sense because X was good at literally everything. Rapping, singing, and of course, producing. Dang, X, you didn't have to show off, my guy. We know you're talented, man. Here, X reflects on how he's messed up and how he's to blame for some of this bad stuff that happened in his life and relationships. One of my favorite things he said in this song was, I think I finally found a way to forgive myself for mistakes I made in my past. I think that's the first step, right? I'm not sure if he intended for that to hit me hard, man, but it did. The next track we have is Save Me. We have a very short track that is all too familiar with X's music in general. This sounds like, to me, X reaching out for a hand, symbolizing the struggle of being alone and depressed, and just hoping for someone to, well, save him. Super sad track. Next track we have is Dead Inside. It's an interlude that is super duper short, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. This is another track that's supposed to be referencing his ex Geneva. Here you can hear X's singing voice so clear. It's an underrated part of this album, honestly. Next track we have is F Love. This was the literal in your feelings song of 2017. Can't tell me otherwise. Your ex broke up with you, you listen to this song. You thinking about hitting up that special person, but forget they still hate you? You play this song. You breathe, you play this song. It's so good. Literally the amount of embarrassing and my feeling vids I have on my old Snap to this very song is outstanding. I get in my feelings just talking about it, man. And we got our first official feature by the Mr. Trippie Redd, who goes perfectly with this song, and I couldn't imagine someone else on this. The two honestly had really great chemistry, and I would have loved to see them work on other projects together. Imagine a collab album between these two. I might be crying for a week. It would be so good. Next track we have is Carry On. Yet another Shiloh Dynasty sample is included in this. This touches on the challenges you face. However hard they seem to be, you can keep going. To me, this song also sounds like his last relationship and how he's been falsely accused because X was facing some domestic legal issues. And this song seems like a man who's having a really bad time with an ex. Next track we have is Orlando. Orlando is a reference to his Orlando arrest back in July of 2016. X was arrested for charges of robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. This was the beginning of his pain. He was in jail for these charges. Apparently his ex Geneva cheated on him. You can tell here very, very clearly that X is hurting. And his relationship with Geneva has caused him an immense heartbreak. And he feels like love and him won't ever properly mix. Another underrated song on this project that I feel like more people should be talking about. Definitely should listen to it more myself. Next we have the final track on this illustrious album titled Ayala. The concluding track is this song right here. It's about his ex-girlfriend Geneva, and her last name is presented as the title. She accused X of domestic abuse. His trial was originally set for that October 5th, but it was postponed. This just shows how much relationships can affect you. In his words, she was his first love, and he regrets a ton of things that went down with that particular relationship. So another Rager University's advice, everybody watching, be careful with your first love, because those Specific heartbreaks are very tough. This was another great song. 17 was and is still in my rotation to this day. It's such a great project that speaks to me from my past self and the growth of my present self. Can't express how much this album changed the way I experience and view music today. It's truly special. The artist behind this project is even more special. You ever seen me in high school, man? Ever with headphones on? This was most likely playing. This album was the soundtrack for my high school life. It shaped how I saw music and how I saw life. Comment below what this album did for you, if anything at all. Tell me how you were feeling when you first heard it. Do you still listen to it now? How did it shape your life if it did? I'm always interested in your guys' stories. I love reading them. I always hit you guys back in the comment section. X was one of a kind. This album is one of a kind. And I'm glad I could take the time to talk about it on my platform, honestly. Comment below any albums you want to see your boy tackle. If you got this far into the video, make sure you comment Raid Gang so I know where my real supporters are at. What's up? I'm definitely going to hit you back in the comments immediately. If you got this far into the video, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And I'll see you in the next one.